Welcome to Finding Certainty, everybody. I'm here with my good friend Mike Del Toro of Five Diamond Club. If you are interested in traveling either for business or for pleasure and paying less to do so, Mike is the guy you want to know. His company, Five Diamond Club, is a very unique approach to traveling, not only more often and paying less to do so, but staying in nicer properties that many of us maybe wouldn't have paid for, wouldn't have stayed at otherwise. So Mike, thanks for being here with us today. We really appreciate it. We're looking forward to hearing your story and sharing with our listeners a little bit more about your extraordinary service.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Patrick. It's always an honor and always great to see you. So thank you so much for inviting me here to your show.
Absolutely. My pleasure. So Mike is the co-founder, chairman, president, and CEO of Five Diamond Club. That's a lot of titles, my friend. I know you do a lot. You wear a lot of hats, and you've been doing this for a long time. And so looking forward to hearing your story. Typically, you're down in Mexico, it seems, or in various places around the world. You're living the dream, living abroad with your family, and as you run your company. But currently, you said you're in Dallas, right? Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. Right now, I'm here at our office in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area in Texas, in Southlake, Texas, to be a little bit more exact. And okay. So happy to be here. And but yes, you're totally correct. I actually just got back from Cancun, Mexico. Spent a few months down there with my family, and absolutely love. And I'm missing already the tropical climate since we are at mid 40 degrees here in the Metroplex here right now. So,
well, if nothing else, you got to come back once in a while to remind yourself, so you don't take it for granted, right? To remind yourself how nice it is down there.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, but yeah, you're totally right. We have been doing this for a long while now. My parents and I started the business back in 1998. So we've been around for about 24 years now. And my parents had been travel agency owners from 1983 to 1997. So I kind of grew up with, I guess, having a passion for travel and having a passion for helping others with travel. In 1997, when I graduated high school, I started working for American Airlines, and as a customer service manager there for the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, I noticed that my colleagues and I, in order to take advantage of those free flight privileges that American Airlines would give us, we needed some help in the other type of expenses, the hotels, the resorts, the cruise lines, and everything else to really take advantage of those free flight privileges. So we created what is called an interline travel program, meaning that it was a subscription program catering to airline employees at first, and we later brought those benefits to government employees, and now we're able to serve anybody in the world, whether regardless if you're an airline employee or not. Now it's for the general public. So it's a very cool concept because we don't profit at all on the reservations, on the travel reservations like every other travel company does. We do what's called net pricing. So we have these pre-negotiated rates with the hotels, with the resorts, the cruise lines, and other travel partners, and we pass on all the savings to our subscribers. So we only profit on the subscription service. And right. So very unique business model. So. Yeah.
Well, and when we were first introduced to it, it sounded too good to be true. I mean, I was kind of blown away by it, to be honest. And I'm excited to get into how it works exactly. We're going to share some examples with you, our listeners. But before anything, I always start out each show sharing a couple of reasons why I've invited this guest on. These are my top two, if you will. And first and foremost is really Mike and his story. It's very interesting because as he alluded to here, they had a contract exclusive to the airlines. Eventually, it included some government agencies and wasn't really available to the public. And so it wasn't too long ago. Was it 2018, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That is correct. Yes.
That contract expired. They were able to open this up to the rest of us. And it's kind of like getting the keys to the kingdom. I mean, it's something that wasn't accessible to the general public until just in the last 3 or 4 years. And it is extraordinary. So that's the first reason Mike's here. We want to hear about your program. We know what it is. We use it in our company. And yet I think there are a lot of others out there who would love to hear about this. And then the second thing is, as you hear Mike talk, as you get to know him, he is one of the most just genuine and authentic and articulate people I've met. I mean, we have several vendors. We work with a lot of people all over the world, but Mike is one of those that just stands out as just a class act. And so really appreciate you being here, Mike, for both of those reasons and many more. But okay, so we always start out, besides the top two, which we've addressed here, but we always start out with a little bit about your personal background. And where did you grow up? A little bit about your family. Did you go to school? What led you to? I know you mentioned your family business, and I grew up in the same scenario. I grew up with a family business that my parents franchised all over the country. And so I always say I came by it honestly, right? I was an entrepreneur from birth, I think, whether I had a choice or not. No, just kidding. But I think it was in my DNA, and probably the same for you. That being said, tell us about your backstory and share us a little bit more about you, the man, and then we're going to get into the company and how it works, and we'll wrap it up at the end with just any insights or highlights. Maybe a caller will call in, etc. So.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Patrick. So I was born in Brownsville, Texas. My parents are both from Mexico City. They had immigrated into the United States a couple of years before I was born. And so my siblings are actually born in Mexico City. So I'm the only one that was born here in Brownsville. Grew up in Brownsville, Texas, which is on the tip of Texas there, or the south tip of Texas. And so after a while in, I think it was 1990, my parents decided to open up a travel agency and a foreign exchange business in Cancun, Mexico, which is why I'm very fond of that place, because I actually did most of my, actually all of my middle school years and half of my high school years in Cancun, Mexico. So I love that community. I saw it grow, so very, very fond of that particular part of the country in Mexico. And in 1995, with the devaluation of the peso, my family decided to just restart again, if you will, because it was pretty significant at that time. One of the main businesses of my dad was the import-export business, aside from the travel agency and the foreign exchange. And so he decided to liquidate all his assets and everything in Mexico and just moved back to Texas, and ended up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area because my sister was attending UTA at the time, University of Texas at Arlington, and so wanted to be close to her. Yeah. So I finished my high school years in Arlington. I'm a Lamar High School Viking, and from there, went on to a Dallas college, Mountain View College, got a full scholarship to attend Mountain View, and then got a full scholarship to attend Texas Christian University, a very prestigious private university. Attended their MJ Neely Business School and graduated there with honors and everything. And at that time, parallel, I was working for American Airlines. I was doing my own business already. And in January of 2001, there was an opportunity to start working at the FBI. So I started working there in criminal investigations, and it was a blast, for a 21-year-old to be able to, work in that environment. And of course, with me having my business, that was a war market for me, the government employees. So I wanted to extend those benefits also to government employees at that time. I went back, I tried to negotiate the contracts. Many of the vendors, believe it or not, were not interested at that point. But then a few months later down the road, an unfortunate event happened that we all know was 9/11, September 11th, the terrorist attacks. And so the travel industry was very deeply hurt, during those times. They had a lot of empty rooms, as you can imagine, in hotels and resorts and whatnot. And so we went back to see if they would be interested at that time, and luckily they were. So it was kind of like a domino effect there. Our network grew tremendously during those times. A lot of people were seeking us. I guess the word kind of got out in the industry that we were helping, fill up, hotel rooms, even if it was at net pricing, at very low costs. And so that helped them, kind of survive those difficult times.
Right.
And of course, that it wasn't the only, time that there's been many financial crises that have hurt the travel industry. So, we with this concept, we definitely help out in that arena. Right now, we're sitting at, in the world, there's over 17 million rooms, and about 35% still remain vacant every single year. That's a huge problem for the hotel industry. That's about 6 million rooms almost that go empty every single year. So they rather have a warm body, in those hotel rooms,
Right.
than nobody at all. And they know that they're going to consume in their other points of sale, and so they have other ways to make up for revenue. And
Right.
so that's how we help out.
Okay, so let me interject because you're jumping ahead to product again. Now you're so excited about what you do.
Yeah.
It just pours out of him. He just can't help it. So I want to go back to a couple of things you said, because any family that grows up with just this entrepreneurial focus, whether they own a restaurant, they own a travel agency, a franchise like my parents did, you as a child, you see your parents go through the growing pains, right? They go through the trials and the challenges, and you hear this saying that I worked for 30 years and I was to be an overnight success, right? Most people who aren't in the trenches there, they don't understand how much work it takes to get there and how many sacrifices it took. I mean, you talk about your parents going to Cancun and then eventually having to start over, coming back to the States, and then you were down in Cancun. So I'd love to talk about that for just a minute or two, because I think it's a really important lesson to address for anyone who's maybe listening, starting their own business, thinking about starting their own business, etc. And that is a big focus of our show. So I before we go there, though, I want to interject. I was able to go to Cancun. I've been there twice, once on a cruise and once with my grandfather. My grandfather, George Tate, was in his late 70s. He had prostate cancer at the time, and he wanted to go on one last hurrah. And he'd always wanted to drive from Salt Lake City to Mexico City and back. And my grandmother said, "No way, I'm not going." So he tried to recruit 2 or 3 of my cousins. One got married, one got called in the military. I got back from a mission for my church to Italy, and he said, "We're going to Mexico." Before I could get distracted or into school or anything else, he says, "We're going." And of course, I love to travel. So I said, "Awesome, let's do it." And so we drove all the way down through Nogales, down Mazatlan and Guadalajara, over to Mexico City, which is the largest city in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then over to Merida and Cancun and Uxmal and Chichen Itza. And the thing that stands out in my mind, it was an amazing trip. We took 2 months to do this trip as part of this big motorhome, BYU alumni tour. And so had some amazing experiences. But what stands out in my mind from Cancun was the color of the water. It was incredible. I lived in Italy for a while. I was on the island of Sardinia, and it is surrounded by the same kind of crystal blue water, right? It's where they filmed the movie The Black Stallion several years ago. But Cancun, I mean, to live there every day and be able to look out at that water and feel that warm breeze, that must be an amazing experience.
It is totally amazing. Absolutely love, being down there in that area, just being surrounded by all this nature. You have of course, the Caribbean Sea there with white sand, turquoise color, clear water. I love scuba diving. So going to the islands also like Cozumel and being near the second most largest reef in the world is a total, I don't know, breathtaking experience. So yeah, absolutely wonderful. And of course, they have the surrounding cenotes, which are, basically sinkholes with caverns and natural cold water, and so that's a great experience too. So
I bet. So we're actually coming up on our first break, and you'll be amazed, Michael, how fast this show flies by. But what is one lesson that you learned watching your parents as entrepreneurs just struggle through the muck of it, to stay in business for all those years, for decades, and come out on top?
Well, definitely, it was like a roller coaster life. There was a lot of ups and downs. Every time there was inflation or devaluation of a currency or whatnot, and just see my parents go through that roller coaster life, and that's why we actually came up with a subscription model to have a little bit more stability, if you will.
Right, more consistency.
Yeah.
So would you say the lesson is you have to be able to adapt? I mean, I've seen that with our business. We've tried multiple marketing approaches and various product lines. And when it's this constant process of refining and defining who you are and what you do and how you do it, right? You're never done, I don't think. And I mean, I guess some people, you look at Sir Richard Branson or somebody who's built his company to a point where now he's pretty comfortable, right? But
yeah,
but even then, you're constantly improving. You're constantly assessing, how can we do this better? And that's one of the great joys and challenges, but joys of being an entrepreneur. Would you agree?
That is correct. Yes, that is correct. Yeah, and it's something that unfortunately, the business schools don't teach you. It's something that you have to kind of learn by trial and error there. But yes, the world is forever evolving, and how you do business and who you target in terms of marketing and things like that. So it's
Right.
an never ending learning environment. I think that you have to get accustomed to when you're an entrepreneur.
Right. Well, we're up against our first break. So we're speaking with Michael Del Toro. He's the founder and CEO of Five Diamond Club. And I'm excited to come back after this break to get into the nuts and bolts of how Five Diamond works. It's really a revolutionary program. And if you're not familiar with it, you want to be. So hold on tight, guys. We'll be right back with you. Thanks so much. And Michael, thanks again for being here.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Patrick.
All clear. Just a moment while we save the segment.
So when we're pre-recording this show, everybody, if you're listening on the YouTube video, because it's Thanksgiving weekend. I'm going to talk about that when we come back real briefly, but and the company isn't going to be open on the 25th, which is the day this show comes out. So I appreciate you squeezing it in early, Mike, before the holiday. But
yeah, no, that's great. It's great that it's going to come out on Friday, which is Black Friday. So
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about that briefly because it plays into our topic. So as he comes back from the break, we will address that.
All right, Patrick, we are all set for the next segment.
All right.
Okay, count us down. Thanks, thanks, Andrew.
Yep, here we go. In 5, 4, 3.
And we are back with you here on Finding Certainty. We're visiting with Mike Del Toro. He's the founder and CEO of a wholesale travel club named Five Diamond Club, one of our favorite providers, one of our favorite vendors. Don't tell the others I said that, but if you travel at all for business or for pleasure, you absolutely want to know about Five Diamond Club. So thanks for being with us today, Mike. Thanks for being here.
Again. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here.
My pleasure. You are in the hot seat, and we appreciate your time. So prior to the break, we were talking a little bit about your backstory, and I do want to interject that we're actually pre-recording this show. We don't do this very often, but we're pre-recording it because this is the Thanksgiving week, and coming up is our Thanksgiving weekend, if you will, and the company is closed on Friday the 25th. So they asked us, anyone who's working that day, anyone who has shows, please pre-record them so we can still broadcast that day without having to come into work. So Mike, thanks for being here a little bit early. We're recording this 3 or 4 days before, but I think it's ironic or maybe appropriate that we're we're broadcasting your show on Black Friday, right? Because isn't that the day all of us go out, and whether it's online or in retail establishments, we're looking for a good deal, right? We're looking for for those killer deals that are significantly discounted and only available that one day a year or whatever the case might be. So I thought that was really appropriate, maybe even serendipitous, that's the day we're going to be reporting your show. We didn't even plan that out. That just kind of came about, right?
Yeah.
But it's appropriate because that's what you do. You save people money and enable them to get more for less, to do more with their budget, which all of us are interested in, of course, right? So anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. But looking back, that previous segment, you started to tell your story about how initially the service that you now provide to the general public is now available to the general public, was only available initially to the travel industry, right? They had an exclusive contract where they already have flight benefits, but now you were providing them with these extraordinary discounts on accommodations and cruises and even rental car discounts, things like that. And so now that was a 20-year contract, wasn't it? If I understood
Yes,
correctly.
it was a 20-year exclusive, and after the 20 years, it would be fair game for us to offer it to the general public, which is what we're doing now. We had several large companies approach us to try to do away with the concept, purchase us, acquire us, to do away with the concept. We did not budge, and we don't intend to. We really want to leave a legacy to the world because we know that this is going to be disruptive to the travel industry as we know it today, and change the way everyone travels.
Right. Well, I completely agree. I'll never travel any other way. I even talked about you on our YouTube live channel that we do. See, I don't know if you know this, Michael, but I'm a provider. I'm one of the headliner hosts on a YouTube live channel that's put out by the Strategic Advisor Board. This is a group of CEOs and others that advise companies, or kind of like an advisor board for hire, if you will, or a kind of like a CMO or a CFO for hire. But they're an entire board. And not too long ago, they started a YouTube live channel. They invited me to be one of the hosts. They also own top 1% global podcast, which is the Strategic Advisor Board podcast. But anyway, so about a week ago, I told the story of how I worked for a company named Trend West Resorts. They were eventually bought out by Cendant and then by Wyndham. They are now World Marked by Wyndham is the product. And I told the stories I learned from working in that industry, from working in timeshare, and just what a great job they did with their incentives and their sales, sales contests and so forth and so on. But the last day of the week, I talked about how we travel today instead, and I spoke about you. I have to send you the link for that if you haven't seen it. But so I'm curious, why would the airline industry give you a 20-year contract, knowing that would expire and then be available to the general public? Why would they even consider making it temporary? That's one of the questions I've been wanting to ask you.
Well, we were one of the first concepts out there, so I guess it was new to them, new to us. So I guess honestly, they probably didn't even think of, I guess it lasting that long. I hate to say it that way, but at that time, as I said, I had just graduated high school. It was an 18-year-old. They're looking for a contract with these big wigs, in the hospitality industry, and trying to bring that together to the airline. So I don't think they thought anything much of it or for it to last long.
They didn't think it through.
Because if we actually see other airline companies that were developed after us, they all have that clause in where it's an indefinite clause. So they can never offer this to the general public. You have to be an airline employee, within the United States to be able to, purchase these type of.
Interesting. Isn't that interesting? That's so all of the contracts other than yours with the airlines are in perpetuity. And then I know you said you worked for the FBI, so you were able to Did you get an exception with the airlines where you could now offer it to the FBI or to these government agencies, or how did that come about?
So when I started working at the FBI in 2001, in January of 9th of 2001 to be exact. So there, since I was going to resign. I didn't resign really until May 4th, I think it was, of 2001 to the airlines. But since that was going to be my natural market, was government agencies, I wanted, to offer that, of course, to my fellow colleagues, because that was my intention. And of course, keep offering it to airline employees as well, parallel. At the beginning, they weren't very open to that because, again, it was something that was going to be exclusive for airline employees only. They really only made the exception because they, after 9/11, it was, those tragic events changed the hospitality industry overall, and it really hurt the travel industry a lot. They had already been through similar, well, I wouldn't say similar, but a lot of cancellations and whatnot in the year 2000, with the Y2K, with a lot of people canceling their travel reservations. So they already had that experience prior to that, not long ago. And so they didn't want, for their hotel rooms basically to be empty. So, they made that exception for us, and no exceptions thereafter, really. It was just those two sectors that we could serve. We never got to the point where we were able to convince, I guess, government agencies to provide these benefits for their full staff. So it was really just us going in and offering it, to the different branches, the different agencies, and so even a lot of government employees don't know that they're, that they were eligible for this type of program, because it was us going to them individually. Right. So, and that's kind of how it was. Sorry.
Trying to get the word out, right?
Yes, trying to get the word out. Yeah.
We were talking about different growing pains and adapting and so forth as our businesses grow, and marketing is one of the most challenging, right? Get the word out, get leads coming in, and actually be able to close them. And so let's talk about the product itself, because I know you've had different iterations over the years. We don't have to go back to how it worked previously, but I do know you've worked with tens of thousands of customers over the years, both in the airline industry and then in the government following 9/11. And then in 2018, you were able to open it up to the general public. Their contract expired, and suddenly the rest of us could benefit like these employees that were very exclusive. So you said a very important thing. And if you weren't listening before, folks, before the break, Mike made a statement that is, I think, the most important piece of this whole program. And that is where you said, we don't upsell, or we don't charge more for our inventory. You talk about net zero pricing. Let's talk about that, because you make your income on the subscriptions, and the subscriptions are very affordable. I mean, it's almost, to me, I don't know how you do it. I mean, I know it's in volume, I know it's space available and so forth, but there's no blackout dates. There's no, there's not the restrictions you would see with just a regular discount program or a timeshare or something like that. But let's talk about that net zero aspect, because it is key to why this works so well for customers.
Yes, of course. Yeah, definitely. It's a very unique business model. All the major travel companies out there profit on every single time somebody clicks on booking a reservation, whether it be a hotel, a resort, a cruise, or what have you. And so that's the way the world functions. Unfortunately, in these last 2 decades, all of the competition has been bought out by one of the 2 major companies. All the travel sites are pretty much now owned by a duopoly. It's either Booking Holdings or Expedia Group. And so they have managed to, be large conglomerate companies that now have a $4 to $6 billion a year budget to advertise. and brainwash America and the entire world, not just America, on on brainwashing them to leading them to believe that it's the only way that you can reserve your travel. So it's a very big battle here that we have, and so we did not choose to go that route on profiting with travel reservations to be like them or like the rest of the travel industry. We wanted to keep the same business model where we're not profiting at all on the reservations, and that's what allows us to compete against these large corporations out there. So subscription based, we do offer a monthly and annual subscription with our programs. We do offer for the more avid or more confident travelers, if you will, that already know us or get to know us to purchase a lifetime subscription. It will still require a nominal locked-in monthly service fee, but it's something that they can pass on to their future generations. And so we intend to keep that model, and it's been very successful in both the consumer world, where people can just go to our website and to Five Diamond Club and purchase the program for their families, and also offering it to employers, and kind of being a solution for them. A solution, I mean, in terms of keeping your employees happy and increasing that employee morale and that employee loyalty in your organization. So it's a great program. As you mentioned, we tried to price it to be able to target really the common American that has a family and wants to travel and wants to get out there, but doesn't necessarily have the funds sometimes to be able to afford those luxury hotels or resorts. So that way the common person like you and I can be able to afford to travel at least once a year, or if not more times now that it's right. A bit more affordable. So.
Well, that's what I love about it. I told you I spent some time in the vacation ownership industry years ago. A great company. Wyndham is one of the largest now, and we were bought out by Wyndham, a company called TrendWest. But we used to tell customers all the time that if you invest in a vacation ownership program like this, whether it's a timeshare or a point-based system, one of the biggest benefits about it is it will force you to go on vacation. You don't want it to go to waste. And it's already paid for. And so you're so much more likely to stop working and take that break with your loved ones that you need. And it's absolutely true. My wife and I go somewhere every year. There's been once or twice where we skipped but we were able to save up the points and go somewhere the next year for twice as long. And it really does work when you have a program like that, or you have a subscription that you can use. You're going to get away. And even when budget is tight, when you just have to get there, I mean, you just drive somewhere, and so I love that about your program, where you've said, we're not going to profit on you on your trips. We're going to create this subscription model. There's monthly options, there's annual options, there's different tiers of programs. I know they go up and up into some very, very high-end 5 diamond Gold Star, luxury concierge trips, including airfare even, and these 5 diamond properties around the world that are extraordinary resorts. I mean, places most of us would never even dream of going to, right? But because of you and how you're doing business, we have access to those places. And I've heard you say this many times, that once you start to travel like this, and I will attest it's true, once you start to travel like this, you will never go back to Expedia, Booking.com, trying to book a hotel and dealing with all that. It's just, there's no comparison to going and staying at these properties that are so nice. And it's all in, even some places that are all inclusive, some places that are just really some of the finest properties in the world. And so we're coming up on our second break. I want to come back to this because we want to break down what the different packages are and just maybe explain a little bit. But don't go there yet, guys. But when you do, and if you have questions about this, I would ask you to wait till after the show because we'll be right back. But If you do want more details, you want to go to FiveDiamondClub.com/CMGT. That's short for certainty management. So C like Charlie, M like Mary, G like golf, and T like tango. But hold off. Don't go there yet. We'll be right back. Continue the conversation with Mike Del Toro. As soon as our show is done, you can spend as much time as you want there.
All
Thanks
right.
again,
Thank you
Mike.
so much. Thank you, Patrick.
Absolutely. We're visiting with Michael Del Toro, founder and CEO of Five Diamond Club. Thanks for being here, everybody. We will be right back.
All clear. Great segment. Just a moment while we save it.
Seems like well, I guess we're not doing our ads and everything. That seems like the session's passing by a lot more quickly than usual.
Yeah. Is it
so,
three?
Andrew, how much time do we have for the last segment?
In the last segment, we're going to have about 15 minutes.
15
okay.
minutes. Cool.
Yeah. And we are all set to record that last 15 minutes.
All right.
All right. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to Finding Certainty. We're visiting with Mike Del Toro, founder and CEO of Five Diamond Club. He's a good friend of mine, but he's also one of those individuals that you meet very rarely in your life. The kind of guy or gal or girl or woman, man or woman that you will look back years from now and say, I am so grateful I met that person. You know, we've all experienced and we've all met people like that. Maybe they were a mentor or a teacher or even a partner or a lover, you know, whatever the case might be. But we meet those people in our lives that we see, we look back and we say, my whole life changed when I met that person. And not to put you up on a pedestal, Mike, but that's how I feel like, and I know your customers feel that way, right? I mean, and I want to peel back the layers of that. Let's peel back the layers of the onion, if you were, and talk about why that is. I mean, what is the feedback you're hearing from customers and the testimonials and the experiences and really what it is that sets what you do apart from everyone else? We already talked a little bit about the fact that you don't mark up your pricing, your inventory. You're offering it at cost to your customers. That's not how you're making your income. You're making it on the subscriptions that give people access to it. And that's a really unique model. It's almost unheard of, you know, in industry and just in general, certainly in the travel industry, right? And so, let's do two things in this last segment, if we may. I want to drill down on the packages a little bit more. Let's talk about each one, and maybe in the first 4 or 5 minutes, and then let's talk about your customer experience. What are you hearing from your customers? Because I know you get a lot of feedback, a lot of testimonials. So if you had to explain your packages, I know there's 3 or 4 specific packages that you offer. What would you say? How would you do that in just a couple 3 minutes here?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Patrick. Yeah. First of all, definitely, you know, the experiences, the feedback that we get from our subscribers has always been positive. You know, we're very blessed. You know, and in terms of just the feedback that we get, you know, the experiences that they are able to go, you know, to these 4-star, 5-star, 4-diamond, 5-diamond category resorts, and these categories coming from the AAA organization, not from us. You know, that's the diamond ratings that I'm referring to. These are, you know, the top properties around the world that you know, would usually cost an arm and a leg to go to these type of vacations, and it really makes it very affordable to go through our program. In terms of timeshare, you know, I was a timeshare brat myself, so I absolutely love the concept, and it was great. You know, the 70s, 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s. Unfortunately, the oligopoly of the hospitality industry, you know, the hotel companies, started acquiring all these timeshare resort companies. You mentioned one before here that was purchased by Wyndham, and that's one of the big 7, you know, hospitality companies. But yes, Marriott, Hilton, you know, Hyatt, and Wyndham and other companies have been absorbing these smaller ones, because they, that it was kind of like the pebble in their shoe. They were really getting nervous that if they didn't evolve, that soon people would not book hotels and they would just go to these fancy resorts, for a lot less money. So what they did is acquire all these companies, and now they've made the maintenance fees so high. They have, these maintenance fees have gone up high in this last decade, and so now it's really not so affordable, to own a timeshare anymore. And it gives you very seldom choices because it's all based on availability that is based on a timeshare bank. The exchange companies like RCI and Interval and ICE are just timeshare banks. So they are dependent upon not the full inventory that is available at the hotel or resort, but it's actually, timeshare owners that deposit their weeks. So the availability is very scarce. And so with our program, we do have that direct relationship. So we do have access to the full inventory. You won't have those issues in terms of availability. There's no blackout dates, as you said. There's no restrictions or anything like that. So it's really what you're seeing on the open-end retail market anyhow, just not paying those high retail prices for it. So it's a very exclusive program. As you mentioned, we have different tier levels. We do have our, on our website, the different programs. We have the lifestyle monthly subscription, which is priced very reasonably. I believe right now on promotion at only $47 a month. So make sure to take advantage of this Black Friday weekend, for that sale going on. Right now, we also have the lifetime subscription, which is the way the majority of the people subscribe. You can either pay it in one payment, and it's only $2,997 plus a locked-in monthly service fee of $29. You would get an additional user that way, a complimentary secondary user. And not only that, but you also get 2 complimentary 7-night ultra luxury AAA 5-diamond rating experiences, one in Nuevo Vallarta and one in Riviera Maya at the Grand Lux Private Residence Club, which is one of a kind. We absolutely love that property in Nuevo Vallarta. We've been there a couple times, and Riviera Maya, we just can't seem to get out of there. We've been there, I don't even know how many times already, but absolutely love that place. And so those are basically a way to get your return on investment pretty much right then and there, because it only excludes the taxes and fees on those complimentary vacations. That's the only thing that you would be paying for, and that's for a 2-bedroom villa for 6 adults and 2 children. So 8 people can take advantage of that, 7-night vacation or holiday if we have UK friends over there listening. But in terms of
Michael, let me interject there, if I may.
You
hear what he said, guys? That when you invest in this lifestyle program, if you pay for the whole thing at once, versus just the $47 a month, which is really affordable, but you get 2 paid vacations. You just have to pay the taxes and fees, which are minimal, but I mean, these are some of the nicest properties in the world. Just 1 week at one of these properties would be more than the $29.97 that you're paying for this entire program. And so if you want to go on an extraordinary vacation and yet continue to be able to go on vacations, this is like no other savings or no other talk about Black Friday deal that I've ever seen. And so that's pretty amazing. And if you look at the additional benefits, guys, there's discounts on cruises. You have access to show tickets and rental car savings. And if you're traveling internationally, there's even some airfare discounts and things like that. Okay, so let's get into the ultra luxury, because I know it goes up from there if you really want to go 5-star and get into some really just unparalleled travel.
Definitely, yeah. The ultra luxury is truly one of a kind program. There's no other program out there in the world like it. You're only paying taxes and fees, and it's an unlimited concept. So you get access to unlimited vacations, not only for yourself, but you're able to gift them out as well, whether it be to family, friends, or if you're a company, to your employees, to your clients. This is a program that also not only gives you those ultra luxury properties, the top 1% out there in the world, but it also includes complimentary flights as well, within a limit, but it is a very generous limit of $6,000, for example, if you're reserving a 4-bedroom estate. It's usually enough, for you to go from any U.S. destination to one of the other destinations, either within or without or outside of the United States, that are part of that program. The AAA 5 Diamond properties, just to give you an idea, there's over 1 million hotels and resorts. Only 120 properties have made it to this very fine-tuned list. It's a curated list that is inspected every single year and audited by the AAA organization. The AAA has mystery shoppers that go into these properties like any other customer and certify this with very objective criteria. So it's not like your star reviews or anything like that. It's truly the creme of the creme kind of properties. Some include Park Hyatt properties, Four Seasons, Ritz-Carlton, Waldorf Astorias, and other unique properties that are not of a brand, like the Xcaret Hotel or the Grand Velas or the Grand Lux and those type of properties. So it's truly a treat to be able to go. These are once in a lifetime experience, but hopefully with this concept of just paying taxes and fees, it won't be just once in a lifetime. You'll be able to enjoy this, a lot more times. So that's what our ultra luxury program is all about. It does require an investment of $29,777. There's a locked in monthly service fee that will never go up, and that's priced at $97 a month. And so, once you own that program, you really have a one of a kind, experience. So.
I want to point out two things, everybody, if you're listening, and if you didn't catch it, these are 4 and 5 diamond properties. They're some of the finest resorts in the world, and you have access to them on an unlimited basis, including airfare. It's a $697 a month investment for 60 months, or you save about $12,000 if you pay for it all at once, the 29, just shy of 30,000. This gives you not only access to these high-end luxury properties, but you have 65% average savings on hotels and entertainment and transportation. You have complimentary movie premieres, you have concierge service, you have, the list goes on and on and on, and you get to share it with others. So if you're an employer and want to share it with your employees, if you have a large family, whatever the case might be. But did you catch that it can include airfare as well when you go up to, I think it was $6,000 per trip? That's more than enough to get you and your family of 4, for example, to almost anywhere in the world. And, and what we find is customers are starting out with maybe the lifestyle, and they get a taste of how this works. And then they realize, man, if we took 1 or 2 vacations a year, especially as we're getting into retirement, as our family's growing, we could pay for this. This pays for itself very quickly. Not only does it raise the level of the service that and of the experience that you're having, but can save you tens of thousands of dollars, especially if you travel a lot or desire to travel a lot. It can put tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars back in your pocket. So, as I said, go to 5diamondclub.com/CMGT. That's Charlie Michael Golf Tango to learn more, look at all the different packages. But Mike, tell us at least 1 or 2 testimonials from customers. Are there stories that stand out in your mind that they've experienced, or anything more you want to share with our listeners? Excuse me.
Yeah. So definitely, we've helped a lot of people, but one stands out. Her name is Diana. She is a waitress at the Dallas Love Field Airport at Cantina Laredo restaurant. And, she's a single mom. She has 3 kids. And so she honestly could never afford, going, but maybe to like Airbnb type of properties. So I was actually in Cancun at the time, and her sister had been a member with us probably about a couple years. So it took her a while to, I guess, tell her about the program. Her name is Gina Walker, and so she referred Diana to us, and just to see, Jose's is her 5-year-old child, his face light up, when he first saw the resort. They stayed at the Royal Sands Resort for that first vacation. And this was probably about a year and a half ago. And just to see his face, when he saw the turquoise color, blue ocean and the white sand and everything, was just phenomenal. I mean, it still gives me goosebumps, and to think of those stories. And so they were very thankful, and these, just like this story, these stories come all the time through our social media pages, thanking us and thanking our team members also. For really providing, this type of access that they didn't, or couldn't afford before. So that's what we're all about, upgrading your lifestyle. So check us out, and thank you. I don't know if you have any other questions for you, Patrick.
Well, I have lots more, but we are actually out of time. And so we're going to have to wind things down. But I will say this, everybody, if you're listening to this show and you'd like to learn more, please reach out to us here at Certainty Management and the Finding Certainty Voice America show. If you'll schedule a time with us to let us answer your questions, we'll actually give you a certificate for a free vacation on us. It's a complimentary vacation. I shouldn't use the word free. You do have to pay the taxes and fees, but they're nominal. It's a up to 7-day vacation. There's about 120 different locations all over the world. And you do not have to go to a timeshare presentation to enjoy the trip. But it's a good chance. It's a good way to get a glimpse at this type of travel. And we are up against the clock on our show today, our Black Friday wholesale travel show with Mr. Mike Del Toro. But if you like to travel at all, even if you haven't ever really been able to travel but would like to, check it out. Reach out to us. If you text the word certainty to 26786, we'll send you a link to our calendar. You can get on, we'll answer your questions, show you how it works, and introduce you to our good friend here. So Michael, thanks for being here. Appreciate your time. It was, as I said, it was ironic, maybe appropriate that you were our guest this week for Thanksgiving weekend and Black Friday because of what you do. So
thank you so much. I'm very thankful. Thank you for inviting me here, Patrick. I appreciate you, and thank you to all that were listening here throughout the show. And I hope to welcome you personally as part of the 5 Diamond Club family.
Well, I know we'll never go any other way. We're even thinking about selling our one-time share we've had for 20 years because I don't think we're going to use it anymore, and we've loved it. And there's just no reason to now that we've met you. So. My hand is off to you. Thanks to you and your family for providing this just unparalleled, really remarkable service to people. And the way you're doing it is generous. It's really transformational. I think you're going to disrupt this industry. I refer to what you're doing as reinventing travel, and I think it's probably the best description. So thanks again. Thanks for listening, everybody. We've been with Michael Del Toro, founder and CEO of 5 Diamond Club. If you'd like more information, again, text the word certainty to 26786 or visit 5diamondclub.com/CMGT. Charlie Michael Golf Tango. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend and a great week, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
All clear. Great job today, everyone.
Thanks,
Have a
Andrew.
have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Care.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you, Patrick. All right. God bless.
Take care, boss.
Thanks.
Stay on, Michael, chat for a minute while we're still recording the YouTube. Was there anything we missed? Anything that you'd want to add to it?
Well, I mean, we do have the VIP program, but I don't know if we want to get into the details of that. I think with the ultra luxury, I think that's
yeah, I mean, that's when you get into really high end. experiences you would never have any other way. And if you're interested, guys, if it's in your budget and you want to go to, some of the finest places in the world, just concierge service, your own chef, your own masseuse. The list goes on. The list of things on your VIP club just boggles my brain, Michael, to be honest. But
yeah, and it's also for the person that wants to live this lifestyle permanently. Even if it's at regular, you don't have to be that fancy. You can be at 4 or 5 star resorts and things like that as well. And so it's a lifestyle to consider. Especially if you're living in the United States, Canada, UK, you probably have noticed that you're paying a lot in terms of your monthly expenditures. Your bills, your
property
utilities,
taxes,
your mortgage, your rent, or whatever the case is. So it might be a lifestyle that is not as expensive if you're at the retirement stage of your life or soon to be retired. Nursing homes and all the adult living, senior living facilities are usually very expensive. And in resorts, you're treated as a VIP customer, not as a patient. So, it's a lifestyle that a lot of people are going, and doing that. A lot of people that have the ability to work online, that you don't necessarily have to be at the retirement stage. If you have the ability to work online, then it's certainly a lifestyle that you might want to consider. To be able to live carefree, worry-free, stress-free, and have everything taken care of for you is absolutely wonderful. It's
you live it every day, don't you?
Remarkable. Yes, we have been blessed with being able to live this lifestyle for the last 6 years. We put our kids in online schooling since before the pandemic. It wasn't because of the pandemic. It was actually in 2016. And absolutely enjoy this lifestyle. We have 3 children that are of school age, another older child that helps with the day-to-day operation, which is how we're able to get away, my wife and I, with the 3 younger ones, since she kind of takes care of our customer service staff and everything, and leads the office there. And so it's a wonderful way, to be able to just go on different resorts, cruises, and we kind of alternate that. And,
it sounds like
you mentioned Italy before. We spent 2 months in Europe and absolutely enjoyed our time there too. So
it really sounds like a dream, Michael. My kids are out of the house now. My wife and I are empty nesters, and and they're so busy with their lives, their college, and and careers and so forth. We're lucky if we get a phone call from them, right? So I think it would be easy if it would be fairly easy for us to go do this. I think what we're waiting for is for our cats to die, because they're both in 10, 12 years old, and they won't be with us forever. And it's hard to travel with a pet. And so I think
it is hard, but it's not impossible. We travel. We have a Yorkie Schnauzer, and we also have a 9-year-old cat. We travel with them. So we only look for resorts that will accept pets. There's a lot more than you would think. So we actually have a special filter within our portal built in that says pet friendly. Because a lot of people actually miss out on this type of lifestyle because of this very same reason of their pets. So they're part of our family. So yeah, we would not leave without them either. So.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That could get us out there a lot more quickly. My business, I do it from anywhere. I can do my radio show from anywhere in the world. As long as I have Wi-Fi, I can do our consulting business from sitting on a beach in Mallorca or wherever. We're not limited, right, by where we work. We have some things we're doing with church and others that we're enjoying right now, but I could see my wife and I very easily following in your footsteps and doing what you do. I don't think there's anything I'd rather be doing than traveling and seeing new places and living this type of lifestyle. And you're absolutely right. It is significantly less expensive than paying for a rent or mortgage and property tax and insurance and all these other things that we have to pay for. I don't know. It's very attractive.
Yeah, what we did is we put our house up for rent, to be able to have this lifestyle. We put our sentimental value things in a, small storage unit things that we did not want to get rid of, and
Yeah. Yeah.
the rest we would just put for garage sale. But to be able to, kind of live this lifestyle, and we've made new friends, and even our family and relatives, sometimes when they want to come, like last Christmas, we said, anybody that wants to come, I'll treat them. And I reserved two very large villas, 3-bedroom villas, and we went to Orlando, Florida. So it was many of us
Nice.
going to Orlando, Florida. And so, yeah, it's just a different lifestyle, but you can keep your friends and have new ones. And my new ones, I'm referring to, because many of these timeshare resorts, are the timeshare owners are repetitive, so they come back year after year. So you get to know these people,
Right.
so they become kind of like your second family. So it's always
Right.
nice, to see them. So
That's really cool.
yeah.
So are there any all-inclusive properties out there that are included in this package?
Oh yeah, yeah. We partner with all the major all-inclusive companies. I would recommend personally, like for example, we have Palace Resorts in the Caribbean and Mexico, which are one of a kind. They truly are all-inclusive. The entertainment and everything is included. They even give you resort credits for you to spend at the either the golf or the spa or the tour offerings and things like that. Escaret is another very fine all-inclusive resort that we partner with that I definitely recommend. It includes all their theme parks, so you have like 10 different theme parks that you can go to aside from your meals and beverages. But all the other all inclusives that you would think of in the Caribbean, whether it be Punta Cana or Los Cabos or Mexico or Cancun or what have you. There's actually some that are even opening up in Europe now in the Canary Islands.
Wow.
Many all-inclusive options.
I mean, talking about traveling like this as a lifestyle, that's pretty attractive, especially if you're eating their restaurants and enjoying the entertainment, and you're not having to come out of pocket even more for that. That's that's hard to imagine, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and we do offer, through our VIP program, we offer, with the all-inclusive concept being integrated. So you would not have any other additional expenses through that VIP program. This includes the cruises as well. So, you can alternate between resorts and cruises. It's always fun to cruise around and, to be able to get to really know the different coasts of the entire world if you want to. There's
Right.
anywhere from one night all the way to 200+ night cruises. I think the longest cruise that we've been on is a 51-day cruise. It's still on my to-do list to do that world cruise. I think that would be a one of a kind experience there. But
Right.
just you get to know everybody. It felt like family. It was really sad when we saw the ship leave San Francisco. We had circled South America in that 51-day cruise. So it's you really get to know, because on a cruises you have your assigned table, you have your assigned waiters and everything, so they become your family pretty much. So
Right.
it's absolutely a wonderful experience. There's 2 full-time cruisers currently that kind of inspired us to do this VIP program. A gentleman by the name of Mario from Miami, Florida. He's been cruising now since 1999 permanently, with the exception of the 1-year pandemic where there was no cruise options. He had to just stay at resorts. But yeah, I mean, he's been all over the world, literally several times. A lady by the name of, she's known as Mama Lee, 82-year-old lady, and absolutely wonderful. And she has been on board the Crystal Serenity for the last 12 years in the same cruise,
Wow.
and just going around the world on that cruise ship. So yeah, there's a lot of people, at resorts, and many that are starting, to be full-time cruisers too. So it's definitely a wonderful lifestyle, and would encourage anybody to consider that.
That's awesome. Well, Mike, I've taken up enough of your time, but I really appreciate it. I'm so glad we met, and you've changed our paradigm about travel. We're sharing it with our customers. If you're listening to this and you're a business, check out the business incentive plan. This is something where I mentioned earlier that we could share a free certificate with you, a complimentary certificate. I got to make sure I don't use the word free because it's have to pay taxes and fees, but they're
Mhm.
nominal. It's like $17 a night on the low end, up to about, what is it, about 60 to 70 if you're going to Hawaii. I mean, that's about
Yes,
the
that is
range.
yeah. Yeah.
That's really cheap and so really inexpensive. But you've definitely changed our paradigm. We plan to travel a lot more in the future at much nicer properties and pay less to do it. And so and who doesn't want to do that? I mean, I think there's a lot more people who would love to do that than there are who aren't interested. There's always that odd few who just don't like to travel, but I think they're definitely the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, no, definitely. And sometimes a lot of people that don't like to travel, because I've actually had interviewed a few. I'm like, why don't you like to travel? But their travel experiences was, just a small regular hotel room with the kids jumping over their bed all the time. And they're like, no, I prefer to be at home, where I do have
Right.
privacy. So when you get access to these type of resorts without having to invest a huge amount like a timeshare owner, it really makes it where everybody can enjoy themselves when they're traveling, and so that's definitely something to consider. In terms of the business incentives program, you're totally right. I mean, it's an incredible marketing tool. So it can definitely help you, whether you sell cars, you sell houses, you sell insurance, whatever it is you're selling, any industry really, or you sell services like maybe you're a coach or something, or a doctor or a dentist. It can really help you scale your business and make it thrive, to be able to give out unlimited complimentary vacations to the customers or the potential customers. So it can help you generate leads. It can help you attract new customers, and those customers that are already your clients, then keep them loyal to you. So it's an incredible program. Again, as Patrick mentioned, you're only having them pay the taxes and fees, which are very nominal. So it makes for a nice thank you gift. And now being Thanksgiving, what a perfect way to be thankful.
Exactly. We've given out dozens of these certificates. I usually give one to my guest who comes on the radio show. I won't give you one because you don't need it, but um, there's something to be said about giving someone a complimentary vacation, and what happens is they'll take the trip. They don't have to go on a timeshare. They're really wowed by the properties. And tell me, are they 4 or 5 star? Are they even 4 or 5 diamond properties? Explain what the properties are on the business incentive certificates.
In the business incentives program, depending on the destination, we tried to curate our properties to be only 4 or 5 star. Some destinations, only have 3 or 4 star properties. So the lowest would be 3 stars. They all have very high ratings on TripAdvisor. That's how we also curate the properties. We make sure that that the customers are not just going to a nice place, but that they're also going to have a great experience. So on TripAdvisor, we only accept properties that have a 4 or higher star rating in terms of the reviews in TripAdvisor. So we always look at that as well. And so depending on where you're going, usually it's going to be many of the resort brands like Hilton, Westin, Hyatt, Sheraton, those Marriott type of properties, and also, local gems. So some are part of the AAA diamond ratings, 3, 4, 5 diamond rating properties as well. So you have a phenomenal experience. You're going to be able to take your significant other. It's meant for kind of like a couple's getaway, if you will. But some properties do allow for children too. So if you have small children, you might be able to bring them on that complimentary vacation as well. So
yeah, and what happens is you send this free or complimentary trip to your client or your prospect or an influencer. It's just a way of saying thanks to them that has real value.
Mm-hmm.
And then after they return from the trip, they will get a call from 5 Diamond Club inviting them to a short presentation about the rest of the programs, right? How they could do this same type of travel, go more often. If they're not already familiar with the different lifestyle package and the ultra luxury and others, they'll have an opportunity And I know it's very high. You get about 85, 90% of people that you reach out to who say, yeah, we'll listen to you. And it's
Yeah.
a very high percentage that end up upgrading. That's how you make your money, is we give away these trips for free, basically, with very little cost to the customer. And that's kind of it's your advertising, right? It's a loss leader, if you will, because you want to introduce people to this type of traveling, and that's in hopes of them becoming subscribers, which many of them do. And so
that is correct. Yeah. And we don't
really
use high pressure sales tactics or put them through a parade of salesmen or anything like that. So if you have experienced timeshare vacation ownership, you know what I'm talking about. It's not that type of high pressure sales or anything like that. We just tell people what we're about. And if on a Zoom call, actually, and if, they want to be subscribed, that's great. And not, that's okay too.
Yeah, well, I know a very high percentage say same. Yeah, where do I go next? And anyone out there listening who's in a timeshare and wanting to get out of it, reach out to me. Again, text certainty to 26786. We have a great partner that can help you exit your timeshare. They're actually old timeshare guys from Trendwest and Wyndham who took everything they learned and kind of switched sides, and now they help customers get out of their timeshares. If you're interested in this, but you say, I got to sell my timeshare first, or I've got 6 timeshares, I need to get rid of some, let us know. We have a trusted source. I know there's a lot of them out there, and there's good or bad ones, but we have friends that we know that are very good at it and can help. So I'll leave you with that, and then you can start traveling with Five Diamond Club, and I'm telling you, you will never go back. So as I said, we've been visiting with Mike Del Toro, founder and CEO of Five Diamond Club. Thanks for staying on for a few minutes and answering some more questions. If you listened on the radio show, you missed out on the inside chat, but if you're here on YouTube, you also get to look. Yeah, well, maybe you have to look at us, but you hopefully gained a little more insight as well. So always a pleasure, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Patrick. Thanks for the opportunity, and God bless, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Thank you all.
Try to stay warm there in Texas. I know you want to get back as quick as you can, but enjoy your Thanksgiving. I know you're there with family. So
I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Patrick. God bless.
My friend. Talk to you later. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Goodbye.